Tonight on the America's Car Mart Football Report, it's the week with the year's games of greatest import. The playoffs are here, and of course, the cream is rising. Some teams got here with upsets, and that's surprising. 116 teams still alive. The rest have stayed home. Last year's champs have the trophies, though they're only on loan. New conquerors will ascend. Some may still be the same, but there's only one target at which they all aim. A trip to the Rock for a most blessed coronation is every coach's idea of December jubilation. Players, parents, and family, even mothers-in-law, love to hear it's playoff football time in Arkansas. I'm David Wallace, your host over the next half hour, as we pick all the games and flex Hootens.com power. So round the radio, come gather, much as space will allow, because the America's Car Mart Football Report starts now. Oh, I'm telling you, it's simply poetic how this season has played out, and we're expecting the launch of the playoffs to follow suit. We're glad you've joined us for your authoritative preview show, the America's Car Mart Football Report, where we not only pick the games, but bring in my sidekick, Barry Grooms, the Maharishi of high school football analysis, to break down the key contest. 12 teams across 6 classifications are kicked back with their feet up this week because they have byes into the second round. But the other 104 have to strap it up for the most important time of the year. That means 52 picks will follow, so let's jump right in with Class 7A and the Hootens.com Top 10 that starts, as we have all year, with number 1 Bryant. The 7A Central champions Mercy ruled Conway last week in the game of the year. Conway stays at number 2 despite that loss. Third is Bentonville, the 7A West champion. Then you have another West team, Fayetteville at 4. Pulaski Academy is 5. Rogers blew out Heritage a week ago in a crosstown matchup, and the Mounties check in at number 6. Then Springdale at 7. Little Rock Christian staying at number 8 after losing to Pulaski Academy in week 10. Then Bentonville West at 9. Cabot at number 10. Let's get into the picks for the first round. And again, 4 7A teams have byes this week. Here are the others. Cabot going to Springdale. Long trip for the Panthers, and a mild upset here as Cabot pulls off the win on the road. Pulaski Academy at home should blow out Harbor in its Week 1 playoff game. Now to the bottom half of the bracket, Bentonville West goes to Central Arkansas to take on Little Rock Christian. Hootens.com likes the Wolverines to win on the road. Little Rock Southwest travels to Rogers. This should be easy for the Mounties. Rogers, the blowout pick at home. That's all of the 7A games this week. Barry, what do you think?
David, start right there with Southwest and Rogers. Southwest, the Griffins, making their first ever playoff appearance in their 4th year of existence. And a big game, Bentonville West, Little Rock Christian. Should be a great game, but the key is, how much did losing to Pulaski Academy take out Little Rock Christian? Or are the Warriors ready to play this week?
Well, we'll see about that one and all the other 7A games. Let's move on now and tell the 6A story. And on Hootens.com, the top 5 in 6A remain the same from a week ago. Greenwood ends the regular season at number 1 and the 6A West champion. Number 2 is Benton. The Panthers really coming on in the last half of the season to win the 6A East Championship. Number 3 is Shiloh Christian, then Mountain Home at 4. Little Rock Catholic is 5. Lake Hamilton moves up 1 spot to number 6 after beating Russellville to close the regular season. 7 is Marion, dropping 1 after a loss to Benton. El Dorado stays at number 8 after scoring 84 points last week in a win over Sheridan. 9 is Russellville, then Jonesboro back into the top 10 at number 10 after beating Sylvan Hills. Hootens.com got all 8 games correct in Class 6A last week. Let's dive into the playoffs in the first round. El Dorado welcomes Russellville in the first round, and Hootens.com likes the Wildcats to win at home. Sheridan travels to Mountain Home. Hootens.com is going with the Bombers there. Those 2 games are in the top half of the bracket. And, of course, there are byes in 6A as well. 4 teams are taking the week off and waiting until next week. Let's go to the bottom half of the bracket now, where Jonesboro has to make a 3-hour trip to Lake Hamilton. Hootens.com thinks that does not bode well for the Golden Hurricane, going with the Wolves of Lake Hamilton to win that first-round game. And number 7, Marion, is at home against Van Buren, and Hootens.com picks the Patriots to win that one. Barry, the Hootens.com game of the week in 6A, Sheridan at Mountain Home. You got any thoughts on that one?
David, you got to go back to 2006 for the last time these two teams met in the playoffs, and the Bombers of Mountain Home won 41-0. In fact, Mountain Home advanced to the state championship game that year. In this season, the Bombers had their best regular season since 1966, and they're hosting a playoff game for the first time since 2008. Meanwhile, Sheridan in the playoffs for the first time since 2020. And Sheridan has allowed the most points in school history this season after giving up 84 a week ago.
Good job. We move on to Class 5A. After this break, this is the America's Car Mart Football Report. I'm David Wallace for America's Car Mart. It's game day in Arkansas. Well, it's always game day at America's Car Mart. For more than 40 years, Car Mart has helped hardworking Americans get into quality used vehicles. Car Mart works hard to ensure customers drive away happy. They give customers peace of mind by keeping them on the road and helping them succeed. That's why Car Mart was named to Newsweek's list America's Most Trustworthy Companies for 2023. Car Mart, in your town or community near you, a proud sponsor of Arkansas high school football.
Not all college ends with a bachelor's degree. There are shorter-term programs that help students get to work in a profession they love. Best of all, Arkansas needs qualified workers in these high-demand fields: healthcare, industry manufacturing, and information technology. There are scholarships such as Arkansas Workforce Challenge and Our Future that will help pay for classes.
Go beyond your field of study and get a world-class education in leadership. As an Army officer, you'll work side by side with peers who support your growth. And you'll become a role model, mentor, and decision maker in any environment, at any scale. It's a challenging path, but along the way you'll sharpen your skills and show yourself and those around you exactly what you're capable of. Decide to lead at goarmy.com/officer.
Why do tacos get their own day of the week? Is it because Mondays are so rough, we need a Tuesday filled with beefy tortillas shared with good friends? If so, why don't we have Wellington Wednesdays, Stroganoff Saturdays, and heck, Meatball Mondays? Then, Mondays would just be another reason to enjoy our favorite beef with our favorite people. Together, we bring more. Beef. It's what's for dinner. Funded by beef farmers and ranchers.
Courtesy of Beef. It's what'sfordinner.com.
Hungry on your way to the game? Satisfy that craving at Colton's. Throw those peanut shells in a bucket, grab a hot roll and butter. Then enjoy one of our hand-cut steaks or any of our mouth-watering entrees in a relaxed, casual dining atmosphere. With 14 convenient locations across the state, you're sure to find a Colton's near your Friday night football destination.
David Wallace back with you in the America's Car Mart studios. You're locked in with the America's Car Mart Football Report, and we're heading to the playoffs, folks. Let's check out Class 5A now as our picks continue. The top five on Hootens.com in Class 5A remain the same from a week ago. It's led by Little Rock Parkview at number 1. Joe T. Robinson is second. Both of those teams are 9-1 on the year. Valley View ended the regular season unbeaten at 10-0, and the Blazers are third. Hot Springs Lakeside is fourth, and Farmington fifth. Harding Academy beat Brooklyn last week and moves up one spot to number 6. Then you have Camden Fairview down one spot, going from 6 to 7 after losing to Parkview. Harding Academy, Camden Fairview, keep those two teams in mind as we get into our picks because they square off against each other. Marlton is 8, and the Devil Dogs jump 3 spots and back into the top 10 after a Mercy Rule win over Clarksville. Greenbrier moves up 3 and into the top 10 to number 9 after beating Valonia to close out the regular season. Maumelle stays at number 10 despite getting Mercy ruled by a very good Joe T. Robinson team. Hootens.com on the year, 85% picking Class 5A. Let's get to the picks in the top half of the bracket. Third-ranked Valley View welcomes Texarkana And what a trip that's going to be for the Razorbacks all the way up to Northeast Arkansas. Hootens.com is going with the home team. Valley View should stay unbeaten. 8th-ranked Marlton welcomes Searcy. Here's a battle of former conference rivals. Hootens.com going with the Devil Dogs at home. Top-ranked Little Rock Parkview should have an easy time with Wynn at War Memorial Stadium. 10th-ranked Maumelle faces 9th-ranked Greenbrier. This game at Maumelle, but Hootens.com going with the Panthers of Greenbrier. Now to the bottom half of the bracket where second-ranked Joe T. Robinson is rolling and welcoming Valonia. Hootens.com thinks the Senators get it done in the first game of the playoffs. Fourth-ranked Hot Springs Lakeside entertains Nettleton. Hootens.com going with the Rams at home. Also liking another home team, fifth-ranked Farmington, as the Cardinals play host to BB. Here's that matchup. 6th-ranked Harding Academy facing number 7 Camden Fairview. This at First Security Bank Stadium in Searcy. Close game, but Hootens.com going with the Wildcats of Harding Academy. All right, Barry. Very good Class 5A lineup for this week.
Sure is, David, and that Fairview Harding Academy game is when everybody is eyeballing. These teams have never played, but they're both full of tradition. Harding Academy has won 4 state titles in the past 5 seasons while jumping from 3A all the way up to 5A. The Wildcats started this season 2-3, but they've won 6 consecutive games. Fairview pushed Little Rock Parkview last week, but how much do the Cardinals have left in the tank after that emotional loss? In Greenbrier at Maumelle, here's a stat for you, David. Maumelle coach Brian Maupin played for Greenbrier coach Randy Tribble when Coach Tribble was at Harding University, and Tribble's son Luke was a roommate of Maupin at Harding.
Oh, yes. Now that you mention it, I do remember that. I saw some of those Bison teams. All right, we're back with Class 4A. Another break here on this America's Car Mart Football Report. I'm David Wallace for America's Car Mart. Who's feeling the football spirit? America's Car Mart proudly sponsors Arkansas high school football. Like our hardworking football players, the team at Car Mart works hard to keep you on the road. Car Mart knows that buying a vehicle is a big decision. That's why they take selling you a vehicle very seriously. When you shop at Car Mart, they're there for you. Through the good times and the bad times until you drive away with a title to your vehicle. Save time at the dealership and start your car buying journey online at car-mart.com. America's Car Mart, keeping you on the road.
Going to college may not look the same as it has before, but you have the power to move forward. There are over 1,000 hands-on or online programs in Arkansas designed to put you to work, and they qualify for state scholarships and grants. Healthcare, education, computer technology, industry technology, and more. Take your next step forward. Visit explorearcareers.com with instructions.
Why do tacos get their own day of the week? Is it because Mondays are so rough, we need a Tuesday filled with beefy tortillas shared with good friends? If so, why don't we have Wellington Wednesdays, Stroganoff Saturdays, and heck, Meatball Mondays? Then, Mondays would just be another reason to enjoy our favorite beef with our favorite people. Together, we bring more. Beef. It's what's for dinner. Funded by beef farmers and ranchers.
Courtesy of Beef. It's whatsfordinner.com.
Hungry on your way to the game? Satisfy that craving at Colton's. Throw those peanut shells in a bucket, grab a hot roll and butter. Then enjoy one of our hand-cut steaks or any of our mouth-watering entrees in a relaxed, casual dining atmosphere. With 14 convenient locations across the state, you're sure to find a Colton's near your Friday night football destination.
All right, time for the second half on this America's Car Mart Football Report. That means we're checking Class 4A now. The top 5 on Hootens.com and the rankings stay the same from last week, led by the Elks, team that won the 1-4A this year. Arkadelphia, the 7-4A champions for the 5th time in the past 7 years, checks in at number 2. Then you have the Warren Lumberjacks, champions of the 8-4A. Mills won the 2-4A, and the Comets finished the regular season at 10-0, their first unbeaten season in more than 40 years. Malvern is 5th and Gravett 6th. Southside moves up 1 to number 7, and the Southerners are champions of the 3-4A. Dardanelle jumps up 1 spot as well to number 8 after winning the 4-4A. Highland is up 2, following a win over Pocahontas in the final regular season game. Monticello moves up 2 spots to number 10 after beating DeWitt. Hootens.com got 23 of 24 picks correct last week, 86% on the year in Class 4A. Here are this week's picks heading to the playoffs. Prairie Grove travels to Lone Oak. Hootens.com picking Prairie Grove in that one. Second-ranked Arkadelphia is home against Ozark, and Hootens.com favors the Badgers at home. DeWitt is a home pick against Gentry. Seventh-ranked Southside entertains Harmony Grove Haskell. Hootens.com likes Southside to go to 11-0 on the year. Heber Springs is a home favorite over Blytheville. 10th-ranked Monticello is the pick, playing at home against Forest City. And Hootens.com likes number 6 Gravette to win over Hamburg, that game at Gravette. Let's head to the bottom half of the bracket, where Clinton will face Gosnell. This game in Yellow Jacket territory, and Hootens.com is picking the Yellow Jackets at home. Third-ranked Warren is a home favorite over Central Arkansas Christian. Nashville should end the season for Pocahontas. That first-round game at Nashville. Hooten.com going with the Scrappers. Number 1 Elkins gets the nod at home against Helena. Mina is the pick against Green Forest at Mina. Number 5 Malvern, a home favorite over Pottsville. And Hootens.com picks Highland, the number 9 team, to beat Ashdown at Highland. All right, Barry, how about Class 4A?
David, some interesting games here, but the one we need to highlight is Hamburg going up to Gravette. Will take Hamburg more than 6 hours one way to get to Gravette. Those kids won't get home till 4 or 5 a.m. at best. Hamburg beat Gravette 42-10 in the second round of the 2016 playoffs. This year's version of the Lions finished as the number 4 seed with last week's victory at Stuttgart. The Lions ran for 420 yards in that game. The key, though, is Gravette. Gabe Holmes, the standout running back for the Lions, was hurt last week after a blow to the head. Got up, looked like he could come back in the game, but he didn't because Jacob Gaylord really filled in. He ran for 139 yards and 3 touchdowns in the second half. That gives Gravette a 1-2 punch there at running back. That's why Gravette is favored in the Battle of the Lions.
Okay, we move on to Class 3A, then 2A. That's the next stop on this America's Car Mart Football Report. I'm David Wallace for America's Car Mart. It's game day in Arkansas. Well, it's always game day at America's Car Mart. For more than 40 years, Car Mart has helped hardworking Americans get into quality used vehicles. Car Mart works hard to ensure customers drive away happy. They give customers peace of mind by keeping them on the road and helping them succeed. That's why Car Mart was named to Newsweek's list America's Most Trustworthy Companies for 2023. Car Mart, in your town or community near you, a proud sponsor of Arkansas high school football.
Go beyond your field of study and get a world-class education in leadership. As an Army officer, you'll work side by side with peers who support your growth, and you'll become a role model, mentor, and decision maker in any environment, at any scale. It's a challenging path, but along the way you'll sharpen your skills and show yourself and those around you exactly what you're capable of. Decide to lead at goarmy.com/officer.
Why do tacos get their own day of the week? Is it because Mondays are so rough, we need a Tuesday filled with beefy tortillas shared with good friends? If so, why don't we have Wellington Wednesdays, Stroganoff Saturdays, and heck, Meatball Mondays? Then, Mondays would just be another reason to enjoy our favorite beef with our favorite people. Together, we bring more. Beef. It's what's for dinner. Funded by beef farmers and ranchers.
Courtesy of Beef. It's whatsfordinner.com.
Hungry on your way to the game? Satisfy that craving at Colton's. Throw those peanut shells in a bucket, grab a hot roll and butter. Then enjoy one of our hand-cut steaks or any of our mouth-watering entrees in a relaxed, casual dining atmosphere. With 14 convenient locations across the state, you're sure to find a Colton's near your Friday night football destination.
America's Car Mart keeping you on the road. And we're rolling on now on this America's Car Mart Football Report to Class 3A. The top 10 remained the same from a week ago on Hootens.com. The Fordyce Redbugs are the number 1 team after winning the 8-3A. Bismarck won the 7-3A. and is also 10-0, as Fordyce is as well. Bismarck is number 2 this week. Mansfield, the 1-3A champion, checks in at number 3. Then Prescott at 4. Boonville is 5. Osceola is number 6 after the Seminoles won the 3-3A. Rivercrest is 7. Charleston 8th. The Rising Wildcats are 9th. And then you have Newport at number 10. Hootens.com got 22 of 24 picks correct a week ago. Let's jump into the bracket. And on the top side of it, Atkins travels to Perryville. Hootens.com is going with the Red Devils on the road. 6th-ranked Osceola welcomes Center Point. Osceola is the favorite there. Number 8, Charleston will play Melbourne at Charleston. This could be a very close game, but Hootens.com favors the Tigers with their playoff experience. Number 1, Fordyce at home, a big favorite over Hoxie, another team that has to make a long journey. Jesseville is the home favorite over Palestine Wheatley. Hootens.com is going with 5th-ranked Boonville to beat Magnet Cove, that game at Boonville. And Mayflower is another home favorite. Facing Lavaca, Hootens.com picks the Eagles. Let's jump to the bottom half of the bracket where Harmony Grove, Ouachita County will face Dumas. HGOC, the home team, should prevail, although this one could be very close. Number 3, Mansfield is a home favorite over Paris. Hootens.com likewise going with a homestanding Newport Greyhounds, the 10th-ranked team, to beat McGee. Salem at home is favored over West Fork. Number 4, Prescott entertains Quitman. Hootens.com going with Prescott in a blowout. And 7th-ranked Rivercrest at home is favored over Falk. All right, Barry, what do you have as the Class 3A game of the week?
Well, David, that would be McGee at Newport. McGee played Fordyce last week, and that Owl defense really showed out. They held a Fordyce team that was averaging 50 points a game to its lowest scoring output of the season. They got their work cut out once again. Newport just mercy ruled Harrisburg. Newport loaded with playmakers like quarterback Luke Reynolds, running back Tony O. Phillips, running back Keandre Barker, and then they're loaded on defense with Demetric Dean and Jack Sampson. But Newport has never beaten McGee in the playoffs, so this would be a first for the Greyhounds to get the W.
Okay, now to 2A, where the top 10 stays the same from a week ago, even though we had some upsets last week. 2 teams who weren't upset are our top 2 teams in the ranking. Carlisle at number 1 beat Hazen to win the 4AA title, and Conway Christian easily handled number 3 Bigelow to win the 1AA. Conway Christian is number 2. Bigelow 3, as we said. Murfreesboro won the 3AA despite getting hammered last week by rival Mineral Springs. And the Rattlers of Murfreesboro are 4th. Junction City is 5th. Then East Poinsett County 6th after winning the 2AA. Des Arc is 7th. Then Cross County at 8. Mark Tree staying at number 9 after losing to EPC. And Bearden at number 10 makes the playoffs by hanging on to beat England in Week 10. Hootens.com on the year, 84% correct in AA. Let's jump into the picks in the top half of the bracket. Number 4, Murfreesboro entertains number 9, Mark Tree. This is a rematch from last year's quarterfinal round. Mark Tree won that one 28-14. This time, Hootens.com picks the Rattlers to turn the tables and win this first-round game. Bearden welcomes Mount Ida, a rematch of a game earlier this season, won by Mount Ida 37-6. But Bearden should turn the tables, according to Hootens.com. Bearden is favored there. Number 6, East Poinsett County, a big favorite at home against Girton. And Poen goes to 3rd-ranked Bigelow. Hootens.com kind of likes the Indians here. Poen is the pick in a mild upset. All right, the bottom half of the bracket in AA is just loaded with ranked teams, starting with 2nd-ranked Conway Christian at home against Hazen. Hootens.com picks the unbeaten Eagles. 7th-ranked Des Arc, another flock of Eagles at home, favored over Mineral Springs. Hootens.com likes number 1 Carlisle to beat Hector rather handily, that game in the Bison's home field. 5th-ranked Junction City will welcome Cross County. This one should be a little closer, but Hootens.com is going with the Dragons of Junction City. Barry?
Well, David, the big game, Mineral Springs at Des Arc. Mineral Springs, as you said, beat Murfreesboro last week 52-36. That was the Hornets' biggest win of the season. Hey, maybe they're peaking just in time. Quarterback Evan Irwin had over 270 yards and 4 touchdowns in that game. But Des Arc, very physical up front, and Des Arc just beat McCrory pretty handily a week ago. This one should go right down to the wire.
All right, that'll work. Let's move on to 8-man now and quickly run through the rankings. The top 5 sanctioned teams. Number 1 is Strong. Number 2 is Midland. Both of those teams unbeaten. 3rd is Cedar Ridge. Then Rector is 4th and Brinkley is 5th. Let's give you some picks from 8-man, where Rector will face Brinkley at Brinkley. Hootens.com likes Rector in that one. Hootens.com is going with Midland at home over Marvel. Strong is a home favorite over Southside B Branch. And Hootens.com picks Cedar Ridge to beat Woodland, that game at Cedar Ridge. I'm David Wallace for America's Car Mart. Who's feeling the football spirit? America's Car Mart proudly sponsors Arkansas high school football. Like our hardworking football players, the team at Car Mart works hard to keep you on the road. Car Mart knows that buying a vehicle is a big decision. That's why they take selling you a vehicle very seriously. When you shop at Car Mart, they're there for you. Through the good times and the bad times until you drive away with a title to your vehicle. Save time at the dealership and start your car buying journey online at car-mart.com. America's Car Mart, keeping you on the road.
Why do tacos get their own day of the week? Is it because Mondays are so rough, we need a Tuesday filled with beefy tortillas shared with good friends? If so, why don't we have Wellington Wednesdays? Stroganoff Saturdays, and heck, Meatball Mondays. Then, Mondays would just be another reason to enjoy our favorite beef with our favorite people. Together, we bring more. Beef. It's what's for dinner. Funded by beef farmers and ranchers.
Courtesy of Beef. It's what'sfordinner.com. Well, that's going to do it for this America's Car Mart Football Report, and we hate to tell you, but this is our last show of the year. I want to thank my co-host all year, Barry Grooms, for the incomparable analysis he offered, and not just from him, from the entire Hootens.com team. My thanks also to producer Bates Yoakum, who has been the behind-the-scenes technical wizard, and to executive producer Thomas Thrash, who signs all our checks. This is our last radio show, but you'll continue to find great football content at Hootens.com. This week, including a video feature on the First Community Bank Scholar Athlete of the Week, Farmington lineman Taylor Conran. At Hootens.com, we love Arkansas high school football, and we encourage you to get out to see a nearby game this weekend. Until our next America's Car Mart Football Report, I'm David Wallace. We'll see you at the stadium.